Welcome back to my channel. I just got back from picking up 9 pounds of fresh, beautiful strawberries. We had a fruit truck from Florida come to town today, and I thought it would be the perfect opportunity to make some jam. It's been a while since I've canned on this channel, and I'm really excited to use these beautiful fruit and make some delicious jam for you guys. If you're interested in seeing the process, please keep on watching. Our first task is to weigh out 4 to 5 pounds of these strawberries. I want to weigh them out first before I start cutting them up because I know I won't be able to resist eating them while I'm working. So I'm just weighing these out to make sure that we have plenty. The recipe calls for 4 to 5 pounds, and if we have enough, I'm going to be doubling the recipe. So far, we've gone through 4 of these little containers, and that's 4 pounds. So I think we'll have just the right amount to double this recipe, thankfully. This recipe calls for you to cut off the tops and have the strawberries. I'm gonna cut them in half and then cut them in half again, just to make it easier for me when I go to mash these with a potato masher. I think if I left them whole, it would take me a little bit longer than I would want. So I'm gonna get after cutting up these strawberries, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, now it's time to take my potato masher and smash all of these berries up. Alright, I believe we have our strawberries mashed down to a good consistency. That was a lot of work. I think I'm gonna take a break and eat a couple of these strawberries. I've never had better strawberries in my life. I need to get to work before I eat all of them. All right, our next step is adding our pectin or Sure-Jell to our strawberries. Now that it's boiling, it's time to add our sugar. This recipe calls for 7 cups of sugar. Time to mix it up. Now that it's boiling, I'm going to stir this for 1 minute straight, and then we will remove it from the heat and get it in our jars. Now I'm going to go in with a spoon and remove all of this foam. Removing the foam ensures the shelf life of your jars. If you don't remove it, you can risk having your jars siphon, which you definitely don't want. So I'm going to get all this foam out of here, and then we will get our jam in our hot jars. up with 11 jars of sealed jam, but unfortunately none of them set. So we ended up with very watery, runny jam, which is not ideal. Fortunately, there's a whole section in the Ball Guide to Preserving that tells you what to do if you run into this issue. So I'm gonna follow along and hope that we can get all of our jars set this time. So the first thing we need to do when we are starting the reprocessing process is measure out 8 cups of our jam. Next, we're gonna add 1/4 cup of pectin to our saucepan. We're gonna combine the pectin with 1/2 cup of water until it's all dissolved, and then we're gonna bring this to a boil. All right, now that this is boiling, we're gonna add our jam and our sugar and bring that to a boil again. We are adding 3/4 cup of sugar. And now we're gonna get this mixed up. We wanna make sure that this boil can't be stopped when I'm stirring it. So I'm going to let it go and see. And it's still going, so we need to stir this constantly for the next 30 seconds. This is something I failed to do last time. At least I think I failed to do it correctly. And I think that might have prevented the setting. Our jars are out of the canner. All 8 of them had successful seals, and I can already tell just by looking at them that they are going to set this time. I think I realized what I did wrong when I tried to make this jam the first time. Once you bring everything to a boil, you're supposed to stir it constantly and make sure that the boiling doesn't stop when you start stirring. I did not do that. I just let it boil, stirred it a little bit and let it boil. I didn't keep stirring, so I don't think I allowed for enough time for it to get hot enough. So this time I only had 8 jars, and the first time I made it I had 11 jars, which tells me that it didn't cook down or something along the way didn't process enough, which left me with the runny, wet jam the first time. So now that I've learned that lesson, hopefully I can use it moving forward when I make jam again, and I won't ever have this issue again. And as frustrating as it is and as much work as canning is, it's great to make mistakes along the way so that you can figure out how to do it properly. And I'm just glad that I took the time to try again. I'm gonna take the rest of our strawberries and make a second batch of jam and hope that everything goes smoothly this time. It's been about 48 hours since I last filmed, and we ended up with 18 half pints of strawberry jam. I'm really happy with the turnout. I have plenty to share with friends and family, and I learned a lot during this process, and I'm gonna apply it to the next time I decide to make jam. I wanna see if all of my hard work paid off, so I'm gonna give this jam a taste test. I can honestly say all of that work and effort was worth it. This jam is delicious, and I'm really excited to have everyone try it. If you have any suggestions for me on my process, or if you've had something similar happen, please share that down below in the comments. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'm really looking forward to making some gardening content coming up. It's March here, and I am counting down the days until I get to plant some of my cold hardy vegetables outside. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, don't be afraid to share. I want to thank you for watching this video and subscribing to the channel. It really means a lot to me. I will see you guys in the next video.